What's up, guys? Welcome back to another vlog. Guys, I'm not even going to waste any time. I'm getting right into it because I just finished watching the KSI versus Logan Paul rematch. I'm sure a lot of you guys out there, if you haven't watched it, are wondering what went down. Guys, let me tell you. And look, there's a whole fight card that happened. I'm not even going to talk about that because I'm sure most people have been wondering about KSI and Logan Paul. And in case you don't know, which you probably have already checked the news, by the time this uploads, actually, you probably already know. But KSI won, and wow, I don't even know, I don't have the words, man, because that fight was, it was crazy, you know what I'm saying? Like, at the beginning, KSI came out really strong, and it was kind of almost like last year how Logan came out really strong, but KSI came out really strong this time. And basically, until the time that Logan actually knocked KSI down with an uppercut, it looked like KSI had control of the entire fight, and I would say he was ahead in points up until that point. And then after he got knocked down, it took KSI, I think it took him a little bit to start trying to get into swinging again and going after Logan. For a moment there he was a little bit, and I'm sure he would have been a little bit shaken up and realizing that, wait a minute, Logan can actually hit me, he can knock me down. And so it was quite interesting, because then after a while though, you saw KSI once again starting to throw those big swings and stuff and try to take Logan down again and everything. But Logan lost 2 points because he hit KSI when he knocked him down. He hit him in the back of the head after he was down after the fact, and he lost 2 points for that. The other controversial thing was KSI did knock Logan down, and from a lot of people's perspective, it was an actual knockdown, but he did not get given points. It didn't count as a knockdown, even though I think it was a knockdown and I think it should have counted. Anyways, at the end of the day, it was very interesting. I mean, Logan definitely looked more like the technical fighter. Logan had a lot more with his jabs, he looked a little bit more in control and stuff. And I think Logan looked like technically he had an advantage on KSI from a technical standpoint, that he looked a bit sharper in things with his jabs. KSI seemed to basically do like he did last year. He might have been a little bit, I think he maybe a little bit more polished, but he still was throwing those big, haymaker type swings, just boom, boom, just kind of going for it. And look, he kept doing it, and at the end of the day, it made him look more aggressive, especially early on. He looked way more aggressive. He looked more like he was there energetically. Logan kind of looked a little bit out of it when he first started. I don't actually, it's kind of almost like Logan was, at one point I thought he might even been like half asleep, or I don't know if it was overwhelming, if it was just the big setting, and I don't know, he seemed a little bit out of it to start. It took him a while to kind of get going, and I think that was the difference right there. If Logan would have came out like he did last year and maintained that same amount of intensity, I think he could have came away with the win. But it just took him way too long to look like he was there, period. He just didn't really do much early on whatsoever to grab anyone's attention. And if it wasn't for that knockdown, it would have just probably been a unanimous, I think even if you do the math, I think even with that 2 points that Logan was given, I still think KSI would have still won. That's what I think. So, or it would have at least been, if he didn't win, it would have been another draw. But I don't see you know, things could have went different. You could say also like, well, and what if KSI had been given that point, you know, for that knockdown? And that's something that he could probably contest. I mean, if since Logan say he's going to contest maybe the 2-point thing, and they should have given a warning at first or something. And well, the same could be said, well, you know, I contest this decision here, though. You know, I mean, where does it stop? At the end of the day, though, I think that finally, and I could be wrong, maybe KSI can't contest that call or whatever, I don't know. I don't think it's worth Logan's time to really contest this. It's really just an ego thing, you know. He obviously doesn't want to be known to have lost. No one wants to be a loser in any competitive thing, especially a grudge match. This has been, you know, a long time in the making. Everyone around the planet's been waiting for this rematch, and at the end of the day, I think it's just time for them to move on. Like KSI said, at the end he said, will we do this fight again? And KSI's like, no, it's over, let's move on. And the same thing with Logan. I think he needs to move on. I think he needs to take some lessons from this fight and apply them to his next fight. Now Jake wants to fight KSI, and I could see that fight happening. I really can see that fight happening, especially, you know, I think KSI also wants to fight Jake. I think they both want to fight each other. I don't think it will happen the next big fight. Jake will be fighting someone else, but I definitely know in the future they will fight. So KSI won't fight Logan again, but there is a possibility that he will definitely fight Jake again. So I'm pretty sure that will happen. But, oh, not Jake again, but Jake, period. So anyways, it's very interesting. It was exciting. Yeah, you know, obviously me being an American, you know, I partly obviously was going for USA, Team USA, you know, just a USA thing, a patriotic thing. But on the DL, I kind of wanted KSI to win only because, you know, he was heavily just regarded as an underdog. There's a lot of things that kind of happened I didn't like. I didn't like how his own coach, you know, allegedly, you know, on his wording of how he meant it to come across, whether, you know, Mayweather, maybe he didn't mean it to sound the way it did, but he did definitely kind of put his own, you know, boxer down in a sense. And I thought that was uncool. I didn't like how it just seemed like everyone was kind of, yeah, I don't know, it just felt, no one was giving KSI even a second, you know, thought that he could win. And, you know, man, like, even though it's just a YouTube belt, technically going into this fight, I mean, even though they're pros now, so it doesn't matter what they did amateurly, but technically, KSI was, as far as the YouTube world goes, he was the champion. And, you know, there was zero respect shown in that regards. You know, even though I know they're just YouTube fights, people look at it like that. But at the end of the day, these guys are training really hard for this, man. They've trained hard. Logan and KSI, all these guys have trained really, really hard for this, you know. So I just think that everyone likes an underdog story at the end of the day. Everyone likes the underdog to have that rocky moment, and that's kind of what happened. So, hey, you know, USA, we didn't win this time, but sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. The person with the most heart, I always believe, is the person who's going to win. The person who's the hungriest is the person who usually wins. And KSI, I felt throughout the whole thing, KSI was always just a little bit hungrier. He was a bit more, and you could tell just in a sense that it never felt like a joke. I felt KSI really was taking this seriously. He really, 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 really wanted it. And I'm not saying that Logan wasn't taking it serious, because Logan was equally probably taking it serious, but just probably that much more. KSI really wanted it more. And yeah, I guess the end result tells the tale, doesn't it? The winner, who was the hungriest, who had the most heart, I believe, won. I think the decision is accurate, and that's really all I have to say about this fight. I might review the other fights later. I mean, at the end of the day, the other fights kind of, they were Josh, the other YouTuber, I think that's his name. But anyways, you guys know the other YouTuber on the card. He did good. He won. I think he had a good fight. And Hanley, everyone's talking about, you know, he's our next big boxer, mega superstar, comparing him to Mayweather. And you know, that fight was kind of just really, it got boos at the end, so that should tell you everyone was booing it. The other thing that I just wanted to point out really quick, which I thought was interesting, was that everyone was actually, even Logan, you know, like, he's fighting in our own country. You know, you think usually when you've got someone fighting in their own home country, that the support, the overwhelming support, that the cheers and the support is going to be a lot louder. But it felt like even in our own home, you know, that KSI actually had the louder response, and that he had more people who was actually supporting him, wanting him to win. And that tells you right there, just you know. And at the end of the day, you know, Logan's done some things, and it's not, you know, KSI in the past has done some things. No one's perfect, you know, but at the end of the day, that could have been a factor as well. That could have been in Logan's head, because man, having people in your own country not even support you, man, that's rough, man. And maybe that's why he was a bit slow getting the start, because he was like, what the hell, like, why am I getting more freaking cheers and love from my people? And that probably caught him off guard, you know. He came out patriotic, wearing red, white, and blue, had the flag and everything, and yeah, man, it wasn't as much love for him that you thought he would have had, being, you know, the hometown kid. So, but that's what happens, you know. People hate on you for different reasons and various different things, and it is what it is. But at the end of the day, it was exciting. I think it's good to have a conclusion finally. At least it didn't end in a draw. That would have sucked if it ended in another draw. So at least that chapter can end, and we can move on now. There's a lot of exciting potential YouTube fighters in the horizon that might clash, and I'm looking forward to seeing what comes next. I think definitely will be something with Jake Paul. I think that's what's going to be, Jake Paul and I get his name wrong, but Sibs, I think it's, you know, that's his nickname. Engine Sibs or something like that. I think it'll be possibly them two. But we'll have to see what happens. You know, we have to see what happens. Also looks like Joe Weller he's been offered an opportunity to get trained by someone who's really good, and he might also make a comeback, which would be nice to see him get back there, since he's one of the people who started this with KSI. So it'd be nice to see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I thought it was, you know, hey, it was exciting. All of it, I watched all the fights, and the main event didn't disappoint. I think that was the main fight we all wanted to see, and I think it you know, it held its ground. Maybe just because we all wanted to see those two fight. So anyways, guys, I'm gonna end it here because I don't want to talk for like, I don't even know how long I've talked already. Anyways, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe, like, share, all that beautiful stuff. I'm gonna upload this straight away right now, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Live each moment to the fullest. We're out.